Hey, my angels, how are you? I'm so happy that you're here. So I'm going to read another of our Celtic tales tonight. But first, we'll get ourselves all relaxed. I have spent the entire day binge watching Sweet Magnolias, so forgive me if I have a southern accent at times. I don't mean to. So if you're new here, thank you so much for dropping in and for giving my channel a chance. I really appreciate it. And those that are returning, thank you so much. Your support means everything. Before we begin everything tonight, I did want to bring up one little subject. And I've always said we're works in progress. And in our progress and our growth experience, the line is not always straight. Sometimes we take a step back, sometimes we hit a valley. Today was a hard day for me. It was the anniversary of my mom's dying, and yeah, instead of dealing with my feelings, I ate my feelings, which is not a good thing for me to do for health reasons. So I know that I will be dealing with that tonight and tomorrow. And you know what? I will. No guilt, no shame, no self-loathing. I'm just going to deal with the consequences of what happened. That's all I can do. That's all any of us can do. We've got to take all that self-doubt and self-loathing and shame and guilt and pity and just toss them out. Because we're all worth more than that. You're worth so much more than that. And that's enough of my ranting tonight. So, let's get you guys settled, okay? So, first of all, make sure the lighting is the way that you like it. And yes, you know my rule, no lit candles. Anything else is okay. And the other thing is make yourself as comfortable as possible. Wherever you are, make the best of where you are, okay? I don't care if you're on a couch, a bed, a chair, a cushion on the floor. Make yourself comfortable, okay? And if you need to cover up, cover up. And now let's do our routine. And for those of you that are new, we always do 3 sets of deep breathing, where we breathe in through our nose for a count of 4. We hold it for a count of 4, and we breathe out for a count of 4, if you can. If you can't, you do what you can. This is about you, okay? And that's all I care about. So, if we're all comfortable, let's do our breathing, and then we'll get to reading our book, okay? And hopefully you guys can fall asleep. And again, for those that are new, or those that haven't been here in a while, I read books that don't have a lot of illustrations so that I don't have to show the pages. I know some people like that. This way, I want you guys to be able to just zone out. Just listen to my voice going on, and close your eyes or listen to the story, but you can just close your eyes and go to sleep, which is my goal for you. Okay? All right, so let's practice. First breath. Breathe in through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2. Breathe out. Very good. Let's do a second one. Breathe in. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. Very good. Together. Hold. And breathe out. Good. And the reason we do that is to make it a routine, so that when we do it, our brain realizes it's time to relax. Whether it's relax to go to sleep, relax to relieve anxiety, or just give us a moment. Take your moments when you need them, guys. That's what we're here for. Okay, so I'm going to find us a really good story tonight. I hope. And we've done The Witch of Fife. That was a good story. And I would like to find a story that I can pronounce. How about we've done that one too. Guys, we're almost through this book. We're not reading anything that starts with "and the corpse." That just will not work. We've done that one too. I may have to get another book. The problem is a lot of these stories were in the other book. So, okay, let's do The Giant Stairs, which takes place in Ireland. So if you guys are ready, let's get to reading. Close your eyes now. Okay. On the road between Passage and Cork, there is an old mansion called Ronyen's Court. It was there that Maurice Ronyen and his wife Margaret Gould kept house, and their arms are still carved on the old chimney piece. They were a mighty worthy couple, but they had only one son, who was called Philip. Immediately upon first smelling the cold air of the world, the child sneezed, which was naturally taken to be a good sign of his having a clear head. The subsequent rapidity of his learning was truly amazing, for on the very first day a primer was put into his hands, he tore out the ABC page and destroyed it, as a thing quite beneath his notice. No wonder then that both father and mother were proud of their heir, who gave such indisputable proofs of genius. One morning, when he was just 7 years old, however, Master Phil went missing, and no one could tell what became of him. Servants were sent in all directions to seek him, on horseback and on foot, and they returned without tidings of the boy, whose disappearance altogether was most unaccountable. A large reward was offered, but it produced them no intelligence, and years rolled away without Mr. and Mrs. Ronyen having obtained any satisfactory account on the fate of their lost child. Nearby the mansion lived one Robin Kelly, a blacksmith who served the Ronyen family, and who had been a great friend to young Master Phil. He was a handyman, and his abilities were held in much estimation by the lads and lasses of the whole neighborhood, including the young boy. For besides making plow irons and shoeing horns, which he did to great perfection, he interpreted dreams for the young folks, sang Arthur O'Bradley at weddings, and was so good-natured a fellow that he was known by half the country. Now it happened that Robin had a dream himself, and young Philip appeared to him in it. Robin thought he saw the boy mounted upon a beautiful white horse, telling him how he was made a page to the giant Mahon MacMahon, who had carried him off, and who had held him in his court in the hard heart of the rock. "The 7 years, my time of service, are clean out, Robin," said the boy, "and if you release me this night, I will be making of you for ever after." "And how will I know," said Robin, cunning enough even in his sleep, "that this is not simply a dream?" "Take this," said the boy, "for a token." And at that word the white horse stuck out with his hind legs and gave Robin such a kick in the forehead that, thinking he was a dead man, he roared as loud as he could after his brains, and he woke up calling 1,000 murderers. He found himself in bed, but he had the mark of the blow, the regular print of a horseshoe upon his forehead, as red as blood. Robin Kelly, who never before had found himself puzzled at a dream of another person, didn't know what to make of his own. Robin was well acquainted with the giant's stairs. They consisted of great masses of rock, which piled one above the other, and they rise like a fleet of steps from the very deep water and up the bold cliff. Nor are they badly suited for stairs to those who have legs of sufficient length to stride over a moderate-sized house, or to clear the space of a mile in a hop, a step, and a jump. Both these feats the giant McMahon was said to have performed in the days of old, and the common tradition of the country said that he dwelled still within the cliff up on the side where the stairs led. Such was the impression that the dream made on Robin that he determined to put the truth to the test. It occurred to him, however, before setting out on this adventure, that a plow iron would be not a bad companion. He knew from experience that it was an excellent knockdown argument, having on many occasions settled a little disagreement very quietly. So putting on his shoulder, off he marched in the cool of the night. He walked all the way to the harbor, and there he knocked on the door of his old friend Tom, who, on hearing Robin's dream, permitted him to use his skiff, and moreover offered to assist in rowing it to the foot of the giant stairs. So together they embarked. It was a beautiful still night, and the little boat glided swiftly along. Only the regular dip of the oars, the distant song of a sailor, and sometimes the voice of a belated traveler at the ferry of Carrigan broke the quietness of the land, the sea, and the sky. The tide was in their favor, and in a few minutes Robin and his friends rested on their oars, and they were under the dark shadow of the giant's stairs. Robin looked anxiously for the entrance to the giant's palace, which, it was said, might be found by anyone seeking it at midnight. But no such entrance could he see. His impatience had hurried him there before midnight, and after waiting a considerable while, in a state of suspense, Robin, with pure vexation, could not help exclaiming to his companion, "'Tis a pair of fools we are, Tom, for coming here at all on the strength of a dream." "And whose doing is it," said Tom, "but your own?" At that moment they spoke. They perceived a faint glimmering of light proceeding from the cliff, which gradually increased until a porch, big enough for a king's palace, unfolded itself almost on a level with the water. They pulled the skiff directly towards the opening, and Robin Kelly, seizing his plow iron, boldly entered with a strong hand and a stout heart. Wild and strange was the entrance, the whole of which appeared formed of grim and grotesque faces, blending so strangely with each other it was impossible to define any one single face. The chin of one formed the nose of another. The more Robin allowed himself to contemplate the forms around him, the more terrific they became, and the stony expression of the crowd of faces assumed a savage ferocity, which his imagination converted feature after feature into a different shape and character. At last he tore his eyes away from them, and advanced through a dark and devious passage, whilst a deep and rumbling noise sounded, as if the rock was shout to close upon him and swallow him alive. Now indeed, poor Robin felt afraid. "Robin, Robin," he said to himself, "if you were a fool for coming here, what in the name of fortune are you now?" But as before, he scarcely spoke, and he saw a small light twinkling through the darkness in the distance, like a star in the midnight sky. To retreat was out of the question, for there were so many turnings and windings in the passage that he considered little chance of finding his way back. Therefore he proceeded towards the light, and he came at last into a spacious chamber, and from the roof of which hung the solitary lamp that had guided him. That single light afforded Robin abundant light, enough to see several gigantic figures seated around a massive stone table, as if they were in serious deliberation, although not one word was said. At the head of the table sat McMahon himself, whose majestic beard had taken root and in the course of ages grown into the stone slab. He was the first to perceive Robin. Instantly starting up, he drew his long beard out from a huge piece of rock. He did it in such a haste and a sudden jerk that the rock shattered into 1,000 pieces. "What seek you?" he said, his voice that of thunder. "I come," answered Robin. "I come to claim Philip Runyon, whose time of service is over this night." "And who sent you here?" said the giant. "'Twas of my own accord I came," said Robin. "Then you must single him out from among my pages," said the giant. "And if you fix the wrong one, your life is forfeit. Now follow me." He led Robin into a hall of vast extent, filled with lights, along either side of which was rows of beautiful children, all apparently 7 years old, and all dressed exactly alike. "Here," said McMahon, "you are free to take Philip Runyon, if you will, but remember, I only give you one choice." Robin was sadly perplexed, for there were hundreds upon hundreds of children, and it had been years since he had laid eyes on young Philip. But he walked along the hall as if nothing was the matter, side by side with McMahon. With great iron dress clanked fearfully at every step, sounding louder than Robin's own sledge when he battered it on his anvil. They had nearly reached the end of the hall without speaking, when Robin, seeing the only means he had was to make friends with the giant, determined to try what effect a few soft words might have. "'Tis a fine wholesome appearance the poor children carry," remarked Robin, "although they've been here for so long, shut out from the fresh air and the blessed light of heaven. 'Tis tenderly your honor must have reared them." "Aye," said the giant, "that is true. So give me your hand, for you are, I believe, a very honored fellow." Then all the young boys began to whisper amongst themselves, and Robin, looking at the huge hand the giant was offering, suspected a trap. Therefore, instead of his own hand, he presented his plow iron, which the giant seized and twisted in his grasp, round and round again as if it were just a potato stalk. On seeing this, the children gave a shout of laughter. In the midst of their mirth, Robin thought he heard his name called, and looking about quickly, he put his hands on the shoulder of the boy, who, he fancied, had spoken. And as he cried out at the same time, "Let me live or die for it, but this is young Philip Runyon." "It is Philip Runyon, happy Philip Runyon," said his young companions. In an instant the hall became dark. Crashing noises were heard, and all was in a strange confusion. But Robin held fast to the boy, and a moment later found himself lying in the gray dawn of the morning, in the carved entryway again, with the boy clasped in his arms. They scrambled together into the waiting skiff, which Tom began to row away in such a hurry. And when Robin looked back over his shoulder at the giant's stairs, the doorway was gone. The story spread soon throughout the county that young Master Phil had returned to his family, and Robin Kelly was the one who had rescued him. "Are you quite sure, Robin, it is young Philip Runyon that you have brought back with you?" was the regular question, because the boy had been gone for 7 years, and his appearance may have changed. He had grown neither taller nor older, and he spoke of things which had happened before when he was carried away. "Am I sure? Well, that's a queer question," said Robin. "Seeing the boy has the blue eyes of his mother and the foxy hair of his father, to say nothing of the wart on the side of his little nose, I recognized him right away myself." However, Robin Kelly may have been questioned. The worthy couple doubted not that he had delivered their child to them, and the reward that they bestowed upon him equaled their gratitude. Philip Runyon lived to be an old man, and he was remarkable to the day of his death for his skill in working with brass and iron. It was believed he had learned this skill during his 7 years' apprenticeship to the giant McMahon, and he put it to use working in the smithy side by side with his friend Robin Kelly for many and many a year. All right, my darlings, it's time to go to sleep now. And always remember, I love you, I value you. I honor you. And I'm so very, very glad that you were born. Sleep well.